insights. My name is Nikki. I'm from the MacArthur Foundation, and we're going to be talking in these next 25 minutes about how your company can harness the power of data to inform your circular transition. And we'll be hearing from some great speakers in the session to hear their stories as well. To give you a very quick background on the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, we are a charity based in the UK, and we've been working the past 10 years to really accelerate the transition to a circular economy through generating some of the key insights and analysis in the space and engaging with global organizations across key sectors such as plastics, fashion, and food. And although our focus has really been on the European market to date, we also have recently set up a satellite office in the US, and we're putting more and more attention on the North American market, which is a really important focus moving forward for us. So it's great to be speaking to the network through GreenBiz today. So today on this session, I will be kind of facilitating the flow of the session, and then we'll have three speakers. Jarkko, who I work with at the foundation, who leads our whole insights and analysis team, will kind of introduce the role of data in circular economy performance. Then we will hear from Benjamin from Schneider Electric, who is the Ecodesign and LCA leader. He's going to be giving an example from their organization. And finally, we will hear from Ulrika of H&M, who is the strategy lead of the circular economy team there. So we've got some great different voices lined up to kind of give you a well-rounded perspective. And I'd ask, please, throughout the session, put your questions in the chat box, and we'll do our best to come to 2 to 3 questions at the end of the session. And some things to consider as you're hearing from the different speakers and thinking about your questions are how you collect data around the circular economy performance in your own company, if you do, and if so, what kind of insights have you gathered from that data, and how have those insights impacted your decision-making as a business? And hopefully the stories you'll hear today will help you to kind of understand what this process might look like for your organization. So without further ado, I will pass it over to Jarkko to introduce us.
Thanks, Nikki. So a little framework for what data in this transition may mean for companies and other organizations. This is something that we see on the public level side of things, as well as in the private sector, in Europe especially. More and more sort of things are converging into these 3 areas of how to use data in the transition. Knowing that we're doing the right things, we have the enabling environment in place. For example, strategy or investments into innovation, or having the right policies to support the circular economy. And then off the back of that, looking at the outcomes from that enabling environment is translated into real world circular economy outcomes in terms of material flows, water flows, flows of money, for example, to make sure that through data we can demonstrate also there that we have made the right decisions and we're moving the needle from a linear way of doing business to a circular way of doing business. And I think increasingly there is interest to show how circular economy acts as means to other environmental and social ends, to show that circular economy can help achieve environmental goals such as reducing emissions or working towards sustainable development goals, to give a couple of examples. And again, using data to show that that transition is happening, and using that data to make the right decisions to accelerate that transition is something that we also at the foundation are very interested in, and we'll hear a couple of examples on that today. So if Nikki, you go to the next one. So I'll leave the middle bucket here on the circular economy outcomes to our speakers, Ben and Ulrika. But there are examples in these other areas as well. So as an example, D.S. Smith, the packaging company, has looked at recycling data in different countries and off the back of that created a circular design guide for packaging industry to try and eliminate waste and improve the way that packaging is used and reused and eventually recycled. Another example for the broader environmental impacts would be IKEA, who is increasingly looking into circular economy and looking how, for example, material procurement decisions and business model decisions can impact the way that they improve their carbon footprint. So making a connection there between circular economy and broader environmental outcomes as well. Very briefly on what we do at the foundation on this topic. So we this year have launched a tool called Circulytics. We'll have a session on that tomorrow at 8:30 Pacific time if you want to learn more about it. But the idea there is to help companies to draw insights from data to see where you're at in your transition and what you could do next to indeed accelerate that. Okay, I think we had a little logo page there that hopefully has the link to our website also, but it's circulytics.com, or just Google Circulytics and it hopefully is the first result. But yes, let's move on to our speakers.
Great, thank you very much, Jarkko. Yeah, so on this slide you can see, just to recap that, you can see the website for Circulytics, which is the tool we launched this year for companies to measure their circular economy performance. So you can just click on that website there if you want to go and have a look at that directly. So now we'll pass it over to Ben from Schneider Electric to give a bit more of a real-life example of how they're using data to gather insights and make decisions internally.
Hi everybody, thank you Nikki and thank you Jarkko for the smooth and nice introductions. So my name is Ben and I'm working at Schneider Electric at corporate functions as the Ecodesign and environmental assessment leader, so responsibility across all the BUs. I think for one of you that were present to the previous sessions, you had my CEO, Chief Environmental Officer, Xavier Wu, who presented the circular economy policy. So I think it's very interesting because here I will speak more about how technically, operationally, we could improve our products, our offering, by making them more circular based on data that we have collected. So in 2 words, maybe Schneider, we are leaders in the energy, hardware technologies, in real-time automation services and solutions to integrate solutions for building homes, industries, data centers, hospitals, industries. So of course, in that value propositions, digital and sustainability are core to our business model. And here, rather than presenting one example, I want to present what we deployed across all our product portfolio at Schneider. And it started originally in 2008 with our Green Premium program. And it intends to provide compliance and transparency for most of our products. Transparency with 2 main deliverables. First is a PEP, product environmental profile, based on life cycle assessment, and that provide information on the bills of materials, that's super important, but also on the full life cycle environmental impact generated by these products. And the second deliverables is the end-of-life instructions, where you could find information on the mass and localizations of key components that has to be treated during the end-of-life treatments, such as batteries, PCBA, LCD screens, and so forth, for instance. In those documents, you also have the recyclability rate. So this is how we create data initially. And today, we have more than 2,000 products covered by those documents. It represents more than 80% of our product turnover. So it is for us a gold mine of data that we are to capitalize on. And go to next slide, Nikki, please. So based on what we collect through our Green Premium program, we have in 2018 revamped, updated our programs, and where it was initially based on compliance and transparency, now we added a performance layer. How our product, beyond being like compliant and transparent in terms of environmental impact, how we can justify that they are performing better compared to existing product, to market average, etc. And one of these performance is defined by circularity. So we can go to the next slide to see what attributes were selected to define circular performance based, once again, on what we learned from 10 years experience of collecting data, of creating data and collecting them on our products. So circular performance could be working on the materials. For instance, we've developed a prototype with BASF in recycled polyamide for a mini circuit breaker. It's still a prototype, but it's something that we want to investigate and deploy further. But it could be, and that's key for our activities as well, to work on the circularity of the product. And for us, circularity of the product is a long-lasting product that can be repaired, that have like sufficient services as well to ensure that like, it's long-lasting. Because it will, if it's long-lasting, it will increase the material efficiency, and therefore it will have some huge benefits in terms of environmental impact. So for that, let's say that the bigger lever we've got is to work on the modularity of our product to ensure that we could replace some parts, for instance, to make the materials during as long as possible. And of course, if we want to do that, we need to have services. We need to have services to ensure preventive maintenance, to ensure condition monitoring, to have like all the field services need on the ground that to make sure that our products are monitored, tracked, and that are kept at a good level of performance all over their life cycle and beyond. So we've worked on those attributes and we were able to generate new offers, and we can go to the final slide. Nikki, please. I give you just an example of a new offer that has been recently launched. It's a variable speed drive. So it may not sound very sexy, but basically it's a very important small device that helps you out to optimize the energy efficiency of your motors. Energy efficiency motors, basically, it's almost 50% of the electricity consumptions in the world. So you can imagine how important this product is actually when we try to work on this energy efficiency. And from that, we add information on the previous product on the end-of-life instructions, and we were able to enhance the recyclability rate by 70% actually. And we have done that by design, being able to identify which component has to be dismantled and make it easier to dismantle like this product for like a better recyclability. So it's a great achievement, but it's not only that, is that we have been doing that while we have improved the energy efficiency of our product, because it's very important to work on material efficiency and circularity. But once again, the data shows us that most of our impact is during the use phase of our product. So we need also to, when we're developing a circular product, to make sure that they are like that they are on top of the performance they could possibly be, to make sure that there is no environmental trade-off from one to another, basically. So this is a small example. I will put the Green Premium link into the chats if some want to know more, and I will be happy to take any questions if there are any. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much for sharing that, Ben. I think that's a very insightful and kind of tangible example of at the product level, how you're using data around circular economy performance to certify your own products and make sure that you're actually designing along those circular economy principles. So next up, we have Ulrika from H&M, who I think had a few technical difficulties getting in. I'm wondering if you're on the line, Ulrika.
Line, do you hear me? Thank
Amazing.
You, great,
Yes,
for helping
that's
out. I'm not so technical. No, but anyway, thank you so much for being here. So my name is Ulrika, and I'm representing the H&M group. I'm based in Stockholm at the head office, and my role is strategy lead for circular economy. And today I was asked by the EMF and MacArthur Foundation to come and share a bit about our journey with gathering data and how that actually have enabled us to reach our set goals, and also how we are using that as a tool now. So I think you can click, Nikki. You can click, Nikki. Yeah, good. So maybe you are not seeing this. First of all, I just wanted to briefly tell you about the background before because we haven't gathered in a structured way data for 10 years. But we started 2018, we set a group-wide packaging strategy related to all the packaging that we are procuring within the organization, everything from beauty packaging to consumer packaging, transport, everything. And parallel to that, we also signed the New Plastics Economy initiative led by the foundation. And of course, we collected data before we set this strategy, but it was in quite an ununified way, you can say. All the functions, they were collecting data in some systems, and they were collecting different type of data, different type of the year, and so on. And after we set our strategy and needed or wanted also to publicly reveal our progress in packaging and how much we are procuring, as well as when we were committing to this initiative where we are going to publicly disclose data around packaging yearly, we started to really in a structured way collect data. So everybody within the organization, regardless of what functions you are representing, are now actually in the same way. And this has led us to, on an aggregated level, really see where we are going to focus and where we need to take a leap, but also where we need to accelerate actions in order to meet our set targets. So I think you can click, Nikki. So in a more detailed way, the data we are now collecting in this structured way is related to, now this is very small for me, but I think I know it by heart. It's connected into 4 different areas. So first we have the reduction area, and we are measuring all the packaging in kilo and in absolute numbers. So we are on a yearly basis measuring how much we have reduced in packaging type, but also in packaging material. We're also looking into how much circular design we are applying to our packaging. So we're looking into how much is reusable, recyclable, and compostable. And as well as we are looking into what type of material we are using. So we are measuring pre- and post-consumer material, as well as virgin content, and also sustainably sourced. For some material, as for plastic, and that was also something that we started to really look into after signing the New Plastics Economy, was to go down to the polymer level. And this has incentivized us to really look at what polymers do we need to phase out, what year do we need to set for that, and what polymer do we want to use instead, which has been very good. And then we are also measuring how much packaging we are reusing and recycling. And then I think you can click, Nikki. So what the insights that we have gathered with this has been, I can say that we have reported now for 2 years, and it has been a very insightful journey for us. We have learned and we have developed our process a lot. And this actually led to us changing our baseline because we detected and found new type of packaging that was not part of the, you can say, of the central system. It was bought more on the local market, but still we were buying that. And also, of course, we want to encounter with everything. So this has also really led us to have a level of control with everything that we are procuring, which has been very good. And also I can say that, let's see now, I don't see there, but it will come to me. But what we can say also is that we are, of course, reporting into our sustainability report, but we are also reporting into different types of reporting like the New Plastics Economy, but also others. And for us as a company, it's very convenient if all these initiatives could be a bit synchronized, because as it is today, they are not really that connected and linked. So we are requested to report in on different levels and in different ways. So it's very hard. And I think by really synchronize all reportings in as much as possible, it will help and also give more quality to the data that we are collecting. So to summarize this, after gathering data, we have really increased our level, and we will use this going forward. We set our process around the data that we are collecting now on a group level, on an aggregated level, and that has been very good for us as a company. Thank you for that.
Super. Thank you very much, Ulrika, for sharing that example around your packaging strategy at H&M. It's really interesting and hopefully insightful for our audience. So we've now got a few minutes left for Q&A, and we've got a question for Ben from this Lawton. Have you measured business returns associated with the circularity of your products?
Yeah. So I can reply to that. I've already tried to reply that in the chat as well. Well, it's complex for any, I would say, features within a product. It's always difficult to dissociate, like one feature from your product and define if it's brought revenue by itself, basically. Circularity, or we can extend to sustainability, because green premium is not just about like circularity, but circularity performance is one features of an offers that we're putting in the market. So we can have return on the payback by using like net promoting score, customer satisfactions. This is what is the most important. For products, it is difficult. In product design, it is difficult to say that the green performance is adding that much in our revenues, basically. We found it is much easier, not saying it's not easy, but easier to do that for our circular services. So when we are offering take-back system, refurbished solutions, because we do have for some of our UPS, we are refurbishing, we are taking back, we are remanufacturing, we are retrofitting, we are eco-fitting, etc. F6 from our circuit breaker to recycle or to erase it, basically. For those services, it is much more easier because it's like direct line into your P&L, basically. So we are much more comfortable in promoting like the business cases of circularity with our services rather than our product. But to do some circular services, you need circular product, because if you want to make retrofit solutions, you need to have like products that are retrofitable, basically. So a part of that is the revenues, but to consolidate into our P&L, it's easier to do that with services or solutions.
Thank you, Ben. We've got another question that maybe I'll direct this one to you, Ulrika, which is still related to revenues. And Shivam Ray has asked, what impact do you think the drive towards a circular approach will have on your revenue in maybe 5 to 10 years from now?
I mean, I think that we need to look at this holistically. So we know that we will need to invest in different partnerships and also connected to the circular design, for example, but also when it comes to the material goal. But in the same way, we know that we will, by reducing packaging, unnecessary and problematic packaging, will also make us use this the same type of budget, we hope, in the long run. So we can use that and look into more circular solutions and better material, so that we are certain. And that's why it's so important to see this holistically and also as a group goal, because we can do efforts in some parts of the organization when we are investing in others. So I think that's very important.
Thank you, Ulrika. And another question we have for you is from Louisa Freeman. If you could expand on your reusable packaging initiatives a little bit. We've just got about a minute left. If you want to give a really quick summary.
If you have a good tip for us, Louisa, we will gladly take that. We are exploring this, and I promise you, it's high on our agenda. I really promise you, but it's quite difficult. But we are on that. Yes, definitely.
Okay. Great. Well, I think we'll keep it short and sweet and end it there. Thank you, Ben and Ulrika, for joining us on this session, and Jarkko as well for giving us an overview of the data space. And we hope that was useful for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.